Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I'm going to be honest, this video is a long time in coming. I've been meaning to make this video for probably years. Now, I've been on the YouTubes for like 7 years. It's just crazy sounding. And in all of that time, never have I ever actually sat down and made a tinfoil hat video. Now, recently, I'll admit, I have found many other things to occupy my time. Conspiracy theories, actually living a life, zit popping, and earwax cleaning videos. Like lots and lots and lots of things have occupied my time. But I finally just said enough is enough. This needs to happen. So without further ado, I'm going to walk you through one of the more common hats. And a second hat that I think that you will appreciate, roll tape. The first step in creating an effective tinfoil hat is to create a simple cap around the dome. Make sure that the sticky side of the tape is facing outside. This prevents you from ripping out your own hair. Before we began making this hat, our beautiful model here had a luxurious head of hair, much like Samson from the Bible. The simplest way to accomplish this is to remove enough tape from the roll. Then, holding one end against your temple, wrap around the forehead, over the other temple, below the crown, and back to the starting position. Repeat this process 2 or 3 times until you have a nice stiffness around your head. You have just created a functional metal bandana. And who is the most iconic person to wear a bandana? Willie Nelson. So it is in his honor that we call this metal part of our hat the Willie. It's important to note that the tinfoil bandana, or Willie, while stylish and sophisticated, will not protect you against psychic invasion, whether from the governments or extraplanetary sources. One quick note, don't pull the tape too tightly around your head. You want your Willie loose enough to be able to slip on and off comfortably. Now that you have your metal Willie, you need to create a protective layer over the crown. You can use pre-cut tape or apply from the roll directly. Our model is using the back-to-front method, but feel free to use the front-to-back method or side-to-side method if you prefer. Direction doesn't matter as much as complete coverage. You don't want any of those pesky CIA broadcasts getting in. If you stop now, you have created your basic tinfoil cap. This cap will protect you from the radio waves, psychic propaganda, and unwanted or even wanted social interactions. For our purposes, we are going to add an additional layer of tinfoil. The tinfoil that we will use will simply stick directly to the tape. You're going to want to have more tinfoil than the total circumference of your head. The overlap allows for adjustments later on. Once you've wrapped the entire head in tinfoil, remove the cap and tuck the metal edges under. Tucking prevents the sensitive skin of the ears from being cut. Finally, you're going to need to do something with all of this extra tinfoil at the very top. Today, we're just going to collapse the excess into itself, creating a firm point. This point has many functions. It can be used to cast your signals out to various satellites or to allow you to harness your power back into yourself. If it faces backwards, it creates a streamlined aerodynamic fin, like a shark. If you spin the point to the front, you can use the antenna as a rhinoceros stabbing tool. I would suggest you sharpen it first. The next hat we will make is our cowboy hat. There are 4 basic steps to creating a tin cowboy hat. 5 if you want to shape and accessorize. 1. Make a Willie. 2. Create a metal fez. 3. Create a brim. 4. Attach the brim. 5. Add dents and dips and shape as necessary. Remember, your Willie is the most important part of this whole process. Keep the Willie a little loose so you can slip the cowboy hat on and off. Otherwise, you may need to make adjustments later on. Once your Willie fits smoothly, create a fez. Now, you're not going to need to create an actual fez per se, but you will need to create a cylindrical, truncated head covering. To do this, wrap duct tape around your Willie, tightening the tape with each successive pass. This will give you the conical shape that you will be able to mold later on. To complete the top portion of the fez, use the front to back method. Remember that you may want to mold this to your head a little later, so don't make these final tape additions too tight. The next step is to create the brim. If you're working with wide enough foil, lay down 4 1-foot long sheets atop each other. If your foil isn't wide enough, create an overlapping pattern until you reach desired brim thickness. Brim thickness preference is really left to the individual. Some people prefer a thin, flimsy brim, while others prefer a girthy, thicker brim. Here, I have overlaid 4 sheets of foot-long tinfoil. These are not directly atop each other. I left about a 6-inch overlap from piece A to piece B. Then, I placed an extra piece over piece A, and I finished by placing an extra piece over piece B. With each overlap, I would add duct tape to both sides of the foil to secure the sheet in place. Next, create an oval pattern. You could simply cut out an oval. That would be the easiest, but I don't like to do things the easy way. I make things as complicated as I possibly can. So what I've done is I took my square tinfoil, it began to fold small angles into the square until the square became an oval. If you're a person who cares about the appearance of things, then yeah, you may want to cut an oval instead of simply bending it. I like the idea of thicker edges in case I ever want to sharpen the edges to a razor point. Thicker edges would allow me to create a more dangerous brim. The final step is to attach the brim. Start by placing your metal fez in the center of your brim. Once done, use a marker to trace a line at the point where the fez and the brim meet. Remove the fez and marvel at your head-shaped oval. Draw a circle in the center of this circle, head oval. You will then use this center circle oval to cut out a hole for your hat. Essentially, you're making a place for the brim to sit. The hole of the brim and your fez should be roughly the same size. You can completely cut out the circle or create strips that you can use to push into the brim to create a more thorough attachment. The hole you cut should fit neatly over your head. If you find it's too tight, make adjustments as needed. You may want to reinforce the area just outside of the hole with additional tape so that when you place it on your head, you don't rip it in half. Now, use duct tape or metal tape if you're using that to attach the outside of the brim to the inside of your fez cylinder shape. You'll also want to attach the outside of the brim. Now use duct tape or metal tape to attach the underside of your metal brim to the inside of your metal fez. You'll also then want to repeat the process with the outside of the fez and the top side of the brim. Make sure that you add enough tape so that the brim and the fez are securely in place. Now, look, I'm not saying that wearing a tinfoil hat is going to be the end-all be-all protection against any form of mental or psychic invasion. Nor am I saying that creating an amazing tinfoil cowboy hat will be the end-all be-all of home protection from mind invaders, alien brain slugs, or, whatever may have you. Nor am I saying that a cool tinfoil hat like this one that I didn't cover in the video, which I like to call the Frenchman, will, make you the most popular in your conspiracy theorist group. What I am saying is forewarned is forearmed. Now, clearly, this has been a video that focuses on, the way to make tinfoil hats, and I'm sure there's dozens of other ways to make tinfoil hats. These were just two of the ones that I really wanted to put the most time and effort into. Having said that, what tinfoil hats are there areas of tinfoil hats that I didn't cover? Benefits of tinfoil hats? Drawbacks of tinfoil hats? Now, there's one thing that I do need to say at this point in the video that I cut out earlier. You saw me using a lot of duct tape. And if you've gotten to this point in the video, then you're probably aware that I used a ton of duct tape. And I know that there's many people in our community who are like, look, Thaddeus, duct tape, that's not an effective bulwark against government invasion. And to you, I say, the government has already invaded many people in our group. And that's just big tinfoil trying to cut little duct tape out of the mix. But duct tape alone won't actually protect you. Just saying, it's got many great uses, but it's not the only one. Just saying, duct tape does work, but it has to be in conjunction with tinfoil. Now, you can use tin tape, which is very effective, but it's sharp. You got to be very careful because you don't want to cut your ears off. I mean, what good is, protecting your brain against the government if you're losing an ear for it? Just saying. This has been Thaddeus. Check out the merch in the section below. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, my friends, smile and stay nerdy.